You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Zinget Solutions, Imaging Services, Posture Screen, Dr. Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, Bax Max, Chiro Thin, Rhino Coaching Systems, Chiro Moguls, 5-Star Management, The Goodman Factor, Mahalo Wellness, Chiro Health USA, Local Gold, and Go Get Talks. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 120, Chiro Hustle. I'm your co-host Luke. Here's your host, Jim.
So today we had a chance to interview Dr. Otto Janke. And if you want to learn more about longevity and how chiropractic can get you to live better years and to have more longevity with your healthcare, stay tuned.
And if you want to meet the Anthony Bourdain of chiropractic.
We're just going to jump right into this one, okay, Otto?
I just want to let you know that 120 is very important to me because that's how much I weighed in 5th grade.
What's so much you now?
Well,
two things for your listeners. I weighed 120 in 5th grade. I actually wrestled 128 in 6th grade. I was a hot shot wrestler. And Jim Chester was in Alaska for 15 freaking minutes and saw a moose.
True story.
At the Starbucks.
I was having coffee with the moose.
Isn't that a character?
I drive all around trying to find moose. I was up in Maine for freaking a long time trying to find a moose. I can't find a moose. They're all playing hide and seek with me, driving freaking Alaska for 15 minutes and have coffee with a moose. Hardly see a bear.
Well, I'm glad we're having fun today.
No, I'm mad.
This is the best episode ever.
So, first question. You ready?
Yeah.
So chiropractic, it's a big deal to you, right? You know, you're a doctor of chiropractic. But
Absolutely.
A lot of people, Otto, they don't know your story, but what really influenced you to become a chiropractor?
Great question. First of all, thank you for guys for letting me be on today. I became a chiropractor because my brother Kirby, who is a chiropractor and a physical therapist as we speak, but I'm a chiropractor because he's a terrible skier. And he's a terrible skier back in high school. So we have 3 or 4 areas right around me. I'm in upstate New York, 3 or 4 areas, which are ski areas. Not like the big ones in, Vermont or out in Colorado or anything like that, but we have ski areas. And my brother is a skier. He wipes out skiing, as people are prone to do while they're skiing. He wipes out skiing, massive migraines. My mom, doing the best that she knew at the time, took him to the family MD who gives him freaking horse tranquilizers. Wipes him out. He can't work very well on those. The migraines are debilitating. He can't really walk. He's losing, upset stomach, nausea, all the whole thing. Going on for a while. He finally gets fed up and says, listen, I'm going to find someone who can help me. He happens to stop by a chiropractor who now lives in, kitty corner from my house. Goes in, gets examined. The guy checks him out and says, holy crap, your C2, the second bone in your neck, is supposed to be here and it's way over there. He takes my brother, adjusts him, and my brother says almost instantaneously the migraines are gone. Ironically, that doctor had a son who was a chiropractor also. That guy has a son who is a marketer in chiropractic. So the son is Tim Schaub. The grandson is Tristan Schaub. Small world, right?
Yeah.
Small world. So those guys literally saved my brother from, you guys have heard the stories of people who have had the massive, we were just talking about this, Luke, a little bit ago, about people with the massive pain patterns and how much it was going to change his life if he'd not get better. So years later, 15 years later, I'm living in Las Vegas, hooping it up in Las Vegas, not knowing what the hell I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what it was. And my brother, Kirby, guy with terrible skier, says, you should be a chiropractor. At that time, he was a PT in California. He says, you should be a chiropractor. I said, what's a chiropractor? He said, don't worry about it. You should be a chiropractor. Just go be a chiropractor. You're going to be great. Go be a chiropractor. So I'm living in Las Vegas, and I used to go to the library often for three very, very important reasons. The first one is because we couldn't afford the AC in our apartment the whole day, so I had to go someplace where it was cool. Number two is I could read books for free all the time. Love that. And three is I could take a nap anytime I want to. Very, very important reasons, and I recommend everybody base your life profession on those three reasons alone. So I go to the library and I look up chiropractic. I look up chiropractic in a book, and I'm looking through the book, and it finds a definition of chiropractic. And guys, it was these two sentences that literally changed my life. The first sentence is that we are the most over-medicated, most over-surgeried country in the world, and we're not the healthiest. And I thought to myself, holy crap, I've been thinking that way for years. This is my early 20s. I've been thinking that same way for years. But it was the next line. The next line said, what we need to do is need to unlock and unleash our natural healing potential within us. We need to unlock and unleash that. That's already there. I literally closed the book and said to myself, son of a bitch, someone else feels the same way I do. It was at that time, I found my freaking gang. I found my gang. So I had to scramble back and get a piece of paper and find out what it was, write down the toll-free number for all the listeners out there, toll-free number, because we couldn't afford long distance either. No AC, no long distance. Man, we're partying hard. It was a great time. I went home, got the toll-free number, and I didn't know it, but it was for Palmer College of Chiropractic. I called them up and they said, hello, Palmer College of Chiropractic Admissions. I said, hi, this is Otto. Send me everything you got. I'm coming to your college. And they said, who? I said, it's Otto. And they said, what? Yeah, I said, send me everything you got. I'm coming to your college. And so that was the springtime of, I don't know what year. By the fall, I was back in my hometown, taking my rest of my prerequisites. And soon after that, the year after that, I was at Palmer, and I found my gang. And that's the thing, man. I found my gang. I found the people who thought the same way I did, who wanted to do the same thing I did. I found my gang, and I became a doctor of chiropractic that day in that library. In that library, I became a doctor of chiropractic. The schooling for me afterwards was inconsequential. I don't care what you put in front of me. I don't care. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, not the best player on the court. I don't care what you put in front of me. We will accomplish that. And so went there and I found my gang. Those two sentences changed my life.
So you found your gang, you became a doc, you're here now. What would you say makes you unique or different in the chiropractic world? Are you doing anything different that makes you stand apart?
First of all, is that my biggest problem in chiropractic right now is I'm often mistaken for George Clooney, which it's a pain in the ass. It happens to me all the time. It's really a hindrance in my practice.
I know what you mean.
That and Mr. Moose over there. I think the coolest thing I do in chiropractic, which I absolutely love, is this. I read about this stuff all the time. And I read about how the vagus nerve and how the nervous system, if the nervous system is optimized, you can rock. If the nervous system isn't optimized, I don't care how much you exercise, what you eat, how you think, the nervous system has to be optimized. Dude, I got this stuff behind me. I don't put that behind me because I think it's really cool to look at. The optimized nervous system, that one right there, optimized nervous system. Above that is rocket fuel, is motion, and then mindfulness. But the basis of all healthcare, this is not my thinking. I'll show you the research that says that. That says if you get a nervous system that's optimized, then you can rock. If the nervous system isn't optimized, you can't. So that's our communication in our practice. And that's our communication when we're out, when I speak. And my next paper coming out shows that, and it is cool stuff.
Well, we're getting adjusted right after this interview, so that's exciting.
Damn straight. You guys swinging by?
Yeah, we'll be right up there to upstate New York.
We'll bring the moose.
Put them on top.
So do you have any favorite motivational quotes or mantras that keep you fired up every day?
Prefontaine.
Steve Prefontaine, it says, to give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. Here's the funny thing about that quote, is many of us in life will downplay the gifts and talents we've been given. We downplay them. If you've got a great hook shot, use the hook shot. You didn't tell Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, by the way, I think you should learn, you should become a better dribbler. Because, you know, you a 7'3" guy dribbling looks really cool. No, he was a hook shot. He hit the sky hook the whole time. That's what he did. What's funny about that is we have gifts and talents that are given by God. There was I was with a group called the Master Circle. We were in Louisville one time at the Muhammad Ali Center. And the Master Circle, a great group, and they would say, okay, we're going to meet in this one city. You'd go there and they'd have the whole weekend set up for you. And we're going through the Muhammad Ali Center, and you think everything would be based upon a man's struggle inside the boxing ring, but only a small fraction of it. The rest of it was based upon a man's struggle with religion and civil rights. And I'm going around, and he has all these quotes and pictures and articles on Ali, and this one little tiny little card. It said that we are given gifts and talents by God, and your responsibility to use those to your best. And I looked at it and said, like, whoa. I went away, I came back to it. It said, you are given gifts and talents by God. It is your responsibility to use those to the best you can. Came back again, and I started crying. And I started like, man, I'm trying to be other things that I'm not. And I'm trying to dribble when I got a great hook shot. And so I came back to my practice and rearranged the way I speak to people, the way I communicate, the way I advertise, the way I adjust, the way I focus. It changed things, and I live by those two things.
Well, like Vanilla Ice says, anything less than the best is a felony.
I have that right on my wall right over there, that quote by
I don't believe you.
right over there.
Well, Otto, something interesting is Luke and I were hiking, I think it was last night, and we were chatting it up, and I was talking to him about things, and he's like, yeah, the 4-minute mile, it was broke once. And then that same year, multiple people broke 4-minute miles.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The amazing part about it that it was a given that man was physiologically incapable of running a 4-minute mile. They used to, in Roman times, attach men to horses to get them to run faster, just to see if they could do that. And it had been tried many, many times before with the rabbits out there, pacers and everything, incapable of being done. And by the way, when it was done, it was within a matter of weeks. It was broken. And now you have high schoolers who are beating that. And you're going, wait a minute. No, you can't do that. It's incapable of being done. Really? That's the same thing in chiropractic. When people tell you can't do this, you can't do that. And my first question is, have you tried? If they tell you they've tried and failed, well, then you went up here and you took a left-hand turn. Let's either go straight or take a right-hand turn. And for the people who tell you that it can't be done, and you ask them if they've tried and they say no, literally inconsequential what the response is.
It just needs to be done once.
That's all. We have it. So my paper coming out, and I just got, I'm not going to really push this by anybody, guys, but I get excited about this, is that we just got the okay on this to be Dave Russell, who's from New Zealand, is my co-writer. Actually, he writes a bunch of the stuff. I'm just the looks. I'm just the face man. That's all I am. But we just got the okay. It's going to get published, and we have to just clean up a couple of things. But we helped a woman post breast cancer improve her immune system. because the research all shows us that women post breast cancer, although they've done everything they can do today to stay alive today, that they don't do anything to live in longevity. They do everything they can do to stay alive today. And I totally get that mentality, because we would do the same thing. Except, how can we change that? How can we improve their opportunity to be around more years better? And we adjusted this lady, and we dramatically changed her opportunity for the next decades. And everybody said, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's never been done. I said, well, then what the hell am I doing here?
You keep talking about this paper. What is this? What are you doing?
So I'll send you a link for it, but it's called Improvement in Vagal Function in a Post-Breast Cancer Patient Receiving Chiropractic Care. It's a case study. And so we had a woman who had gone through double radical mastectomy. She had the BRCA1 gene, the same one that Angelina Jolie had. By the way, Angelina Jolie did not have breast cancer. She had the gene for breast cancer and decided to have double radical mastectomy. If you know anything about genes, about genetics and epigenetics, we look at this in chiropractic and go like, are you freaking kidding me? Because you and I both have genes for everything. And by the way, if you listen to the great Bruce Lipton, he says that if we tested all of us right now for diseases, not responses to diseases, not white blood cells going up or red blood cells being down, but actually diseases, we'd pretty much have all diseases, all the pathogens, viruses, fungi that all humanity has had. So how come we don't have all these diseases? It's because our immune system rocks. Same thing with this lady. We actually helped her post breast cancer and opened up her opportunity for life. In the latest research we start seeing, and one of my favorite guys, his name is Yori Gidron. He's from Israel. The vagus nerve can predict and possibly modulate, get this, modulate non-communicable diseases, chronic diseases. Introducing a neuroimmunological paradigm to public health. He talks about how this type of testing should be done all the time. HRV, heart rate variability, should be done all the time. Here's the crazy thing about it. Guess what chiropractic can do? Massively make heart rate variability better. When we do that, your opportunity to adapt, heal, repair, and then rock dramatically expands. Dramatically. You want to talk about expanding life, exploding life? Dude, we freaking got it. We freaking got it. It ain't about trying to get better at back pain. It's not about better this. It's this. The toughest selling point about chiropractic is that we're so freaking great at everything. Is that medicine wants us to be great at that thing or that thing. We're not. We help humans, and it's not a circle, it's a sphere. It's a sphere. We help all this stuff. And if this thing ain't good, those things ain't good. And so that's the toughest thing about chiropractic, is we're that good. We will soon, it'll come, is we will start marketing chiropractic the same as exercise and eating well and brushing your teeth. When we get to that point, ball game over, man. Ball game over. We will tell the colleges how to teach their students. We will show them how to teach. Why? Because who cares about, I don't want to downplay back pain. I don't want to downplay that by any means, because some people get, Luke and I, you and I are talking about that. Some people get devastated by that. But if your nervous system is tweaked and you can't adapt, of course you have back pain. Of course you have something. But when we start talking about chiropractic in the same sentences as exercise, eating well, brushing your teeth, dude, we are the kings of the place. That's where chiropractic will be.
So what's possible in the near future with all this research that you're working on?
Is that what's possible about it is that we're going to change the story. We're going to change the story. Here's the crazy thing. Let's take it one step farther. And I've talked to a couple of researchers about this, and is we understand, it's almost common knowledge that chronic inflammation is the basis of all disease. Chronic inflammation is the basis of all disease. I have no doubt about that. My question is, that guy who lives in upstate New York in that small little town who has never seen a moose raises his hand and says, excuse me, why would your body do that chronic inflammation part? Why would it do that? And people say, oh, we don't know. We just know that chronic inflammation. I said, why would your body have a missignaling, a miscommunication, so much so that it thinks that this is a good thing to be doing all the time? We don't know. Well, now we do. Now we can start getting into that stuff, is that there's a miscommunication in the nervous system. A miscommunication in the nervous system, which allows chronic inflammation to go on, a missignaling inside you. Once we start talking about the missignaling, miscommunication of the nervous system, guess who are the champions of that cause? Bum, 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 bum. That'd be us. Us. You don't need drugs for this. Surgery can't help it. Drugs only confuse the body even more. We need something that's going to allow the body to be optimized, just like that guy says right there. Optimized. Once we start doing that, kings of the castle. That's us, man. That's us. That's us. And here's a crazy thing. We have to be able to accept that. That, by the way, we frickin' rock. And by the way, we do.
You know, Otto, you say a bunch of really amazing things, and I think it is time for the chiropractor to be celebrated more widely and to have more acceptance level. And not only for the profession as being the healers that you are, but also being the advocates for the cause. And I think so many times, you know, the medical industry really doesn't understand what a chiropractor is actually accomplishing because they're not doing the research. And the people that are doing the research aren't getting in front of the right people. So that kind of brings me into the next question. It's not on our typical questionnaire, but what do you think is, in the past decade, what do you think is the most important thing that's happened in chiropractic to help get us to be the kings of the castle?
We have to use the technology that's at our fingertips. Here's one of the things, Jim, is that if we're going to talk nerve, we got to show nerve. And I do a leg check in my practice. I do palpation in my practice, but I can't communicate that well enough to my practice member and say, Jim, by the way, here's the report I have for you. We need to use computer-based programs. We need to show that. We need to show what the nervous system says. We need to see how the spine is aligned. X-ray should be a mandatory part of chiropractic. It's not one of those things where the ACA comes out and says, you know, it doesn't. Guys, it's part of our practice. And then we have to have the technology which shows the nerve. And so I don't get paid by these guys, but I use the Insight Substation by CLA. I've had you since 2005. They helped me do that. I mean, I use the Insight for this study. We got to show nerve. And once we start showing nerve, we show improvement in nerve. That's us, man. We got it. Because what controls everything? Nervous system. What communicates the best from here, down there, and back again? Nervous system. When you have a gut feeling, why is that? Nervous system. What happens when you get scared? Boom, nervous system doesn't communicate well. It actually hyper communicates. Once we start putting that in and we start showing that, not only can we show nerve, but we can improve nerve. We can improve nerve. We improve you. That's us, man. That's us. And it's not, here's the thing. It's not like we're 10 years away from that. We're 15 years into it. We're 20 years into it. We just got to accept it and use it. It's there. It's not expensive.
So
but we use it.
Here's the next thing, Otto. Now that we've had that part to lay the foundation, here's the compound effect. Where does this take us in 20 years?
Is our communication of what we do, is we have to be able to stand up and say, by the way, this is what we're great at. And don't deny it. Don't deny it. By the way, we're not the best at low back. As much as people want to put our train onto the low back stuff, we're not the best at it. That's not my opinion. Studies show that giving a pamphlet to someone or showing them some easy exercises, that works pretty effectively. And they don't have to go see you. They don't have to pay for that. So where do we go? We take our foundation that's here. And if for the people who want to find the intelligence-based care, You aren't going to find one paper that says, by the way, when someone comes into you, you adjust this point here and they get better. Because you're denying how great the human body is. You're denying how intricate it is and how wonderful it is and the mystery of it. You're denying that. But once we start taking this all, putting it all together, all this research which shows this, over there, we start seeing, and we'll put it together in a short period of time, that we are the best at allowing the nervous system to function at its best, then you function at your best, and we will become a part of the program of exercise, brushing your teeth, eating great, meditation, and chiropractic. It all become part of the program, and that's where it will become. And once it's that, it's not someone who's going to say, I'm going to choose to do this. This is what we do. This is what we do.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Zinget Solutions, Imaging Services, Posture Screen, Dr. Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, Max, Chiro Thin, Rhino Coaching Systems, Chiro Moguls, 5-Star Management, The Goodman Factor, Mahalo Wellness, Chiro Health USA, Local Gold, and Go Get Talks. Let's hustle.
So the work that we're doing right now is so vital because we're getting the message out to more people from your voice, from our voice, from so many different levels of communication that might have not been there before. And now we're using the stuff that you say that's at our fingertips, and we're actually leveraging that for a good cause.
Absolutely. Here's the good cause. The good cause is your friends and family around longer better. That's the great cause. You want the greatest cause of all time? Is that humanity, I'll take it that far, is that we work better when we're adjusted. I just know that. How do I know that? Watching nervous systems learn. I watch nervous systems learn. When we do this on a regular basis, regardless of any kind of symptoms whatsoever, do I have people come in who still have some aches and pains? My job is to make sure, Luke, that you are doing so many stupid things around the house that you are causing aches and pains. That's my job, because that's living. That's living. I want you to go wrestle a moose. That's my job is for the rest of this. Have you go wrestle a moose. My job is to have you get optimized. Get that nervous system optimized. When we do that, life is just better. Here's the crazy thing about this. It's really tough to define better on an insurance sheet. It's tough to do. So sooner or later, we're going to have to either one, overtake the insurance industry, which we're not going to be able to do, or we have to start relying less upon it. Because theirs is based upon a symptom pathological basis. They're not based upon longevity and health. They never have been. You guys know that. So what do we have to do? We have to teach doctors of chiropractic that, first of all, you have to have the skill, but second of all, the communication of what they do. As I say often, if you are unwilling or unable to communicate the greatness of chiropractic, you're going to have a tough time in practice.
So what are some of your favorite marketing strategies?
I do something very unique as I talk to people. Everybody's looking for the next greatest, easiest thing. If you do not have a great story, it just doesn't work as well. If you don't have a way of communicating to people on a regular basis, I love speaking to people. I love getting a group of people. I don't care if it's 5, 10, 500. I'll go speak to that group for you. Why? Because I think the story is that great. I think the story is that great, and people are literally dying to hear it. Literally dying to hear it because they're like this. Okay, I've been on 14 medications. What else you got? I've had 4 surgeries. What else you got? My life stinks because it's not what I want it to be. What else you got? And you go like, well, we're going to help you. And by the way, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. But so we communicate. I'm on Facebook all the time. We do Facebook Lives all the time. We do videos. Here's one of my 2 favorite things: free and effective. Find the things that are free and effective and get really, really good at them. And they're not hard to do. What's funny is Jim, is that I'm 56 years old, and I talked to a group of young grads. I said, why is it the 56-year-old guy can outmaneuver you on social media, and you're a 26-year-old who grew up with this thing in your hand? Why is that? And they kind of looked at me and said, why is that? I said, because my message is this. My message is pinpoint, and I stay with that message. And so we're going to have to be able to use this on a regular basis. And again, the toughest thing about chiropractic, the toughest thing about communicating chiropractic is that whole sphere, not the circle. The sphere is that we manifest all of this to be great, all of this to be great. Not that one thing, not that one thing. All of this gets better when we adjust you.
So let me ask you a more nuts and bolts question. If somebody didn't know how to pinpoint it, what would your advice be to that person to dial it in?
First of all, find out what you love about the practice. Find out what you love about the human body. Find out what you want to manifest in your practice with the people that you see. And then spend 30 minutes a day reading on that. 30 minutes a day. The great Brian Tracy said, if you read for 30 minutes a day upon the subject of your best interest, in 3 years, you become the leader in that profession. So what I do every day, I go find this stuff. Dan Murphy has a great site for that. Dan Murphy, DC, go, sites like that. I go look for the stuff every single day, and I go read upon it so that I can walk into, and I call it a chiropractic bazooka. Whenever I go into any kind of war, any kind of battle, I got a freaking chiropractic. What do you want to have? You want to have a gun, a pea shooter? I want a freaking bazooka when I go into war. Bazookas are cool. Go with a bazooka. Matter of fact, I want 2 bazookas, 2 full bazookas right there going, and I want to have all this research behind me. So I read upon this stuff all the time. I got this freaking stupid book right here, which I can't even understand. Correlative neural anatomy. I don't even know what half the words are in here. So I got to look up all the books all the time. What the words are all the time. I read that stuff all the time. In the wintertime in upstate New York, it gets a little chilly. So I don't go out. So what do? Is I go get the neurology books that the guys who have the doctorates in this stuff with the master, I go read the books. Do I understand them all? No. Then I go read other ones, understand that one. Why? Because if I'm going to become the leader in here, if I'm going to then communicate this, I got to know this stuff. And so I read about this every single day. Let me ask you a question. How many days a week do you think LeBron James takes off from shooting baskets? He don't. Why? Because he's a freaking best in the world at what he does. You want to be the best at what you do? 30 minutes. Put down the freaking Fortnite. Who cares about Games of Thrones? Whatever that, I don't know what that stinking show is. Whatever it is, become the guy. Become the girl. Become the doc. Become the one. The profession. The profession's waiting for you to show up. I don't care what part it is, but find the part that intrigues you tremendously and go follow deeper into it. That's when you start to light a bonfire, man.
And that's what we call self-mastery.
Absolutely. And allow your gifts and talents to be best used. Allow them. I have friends who see a lot of pediatrics, who see a lot of kids. I don't. Everybody says, you don't? No. Why? I work on the other end. I work on the people my age. I'm the baby boomer. I see the people from 45 on. I see the women post breast cancer. I see the women who are autoimmune syndromes. I see them. We untangle them, get that nervous system working better. That's my little area of focus. Jim, I've got a genius. That's all I got. Area of genius is that. That's it. But instead of being a mile wide and an inch deep, I'm an inch wide and a mile deep on this. And so I go read about this stuff every day. And I can't impress upon any young doc or any doc or the students. Start doing it now. Get in the habit of doing that. You become, in 3 years, man. You're going to have 3 years no matter. 3 years are going to be here no matter what you do. So why not become the leader in the profession at that time?
That actually leads us right into our next question.
Son of a gun.
So what kind of books are you in the middle of reading? You kind of touched on that. Do you listen to any other podcasts? What are some of your hobbies? What do you do for fun?
So I listen to a lot of podcasts. Right now, I'm deep into Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton stuff. If your listeners do not know Joe Dispenza, whew, deep stuff. All about the potentiality of the brain and rearranging the brain. Lipton talking about the same stuff. That stuff just drives me absolutely freaking nuts. I'm like, ah! So I love listening to that stuff. So I'll tell you, there's three things I typically listen to. And one is the potentiality of the human body and the nervous system. Number two is how chiropractic can do the first one. And so I read about that stuff all the time. And so that first part might have to do with exercise or nutrition or something or whatever that might be. But I read about that stuff all the time. So I read about that. I read about how chiropractic can influence that. And the third thing I read about all the time is really hoary, druggy rock and roll, because I just love hoary, druggy rock and roll. And I know that doesn't fit with anything, but that's what
We got to unwind somehow.
Yeah. It just fascinates me. The first two fascinate me to no end. The third part is like, how the hell did people get that way? You know, but the first two I read nonstop. It's just it fascinates me.
So what are some websites or links you could tell our listeners if they wanted to look you up and find out more about you and your research?
Find me on Facebook. I'm Otto Janke on Facebook, or my the website is jankechiropractic.com. That's a good one. But our next steps are going to be we'll be launching what's called the Empire Longevity website soon. That'll be done in the next couple of months. We'll start our podcast from those podcasts. So our Facebook page for that is Empire Longevity. Longevity keeps me up at night reading. It gets me up early in the morning. How can we get you to be around, not just around longer, but around longer, better, interacting, communicating, participating? How can we get you doing that? Well, I know the 4 steps. There's these freaking 4 steps right here, and we got to get the bottom one right there. And I read about that all the time. And so we'll start interviewing some of the coolest people I know in all realms of longevity. It might be in prayer, might be in communication, might be in work. Here's a great question for you. Is your profession ready for you to reach longevity? Is your profession ready for you to be 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old? Because if your profession isn't, we got a problem. And so I talk about questions like that. The longevity of faith. Just questions that go through my head all the time is, are we prepared for the next 50, 60, 70, 80 years? We anticipate physiologically being around that long, but are we mentally, emotionally, monetarily? So our whole site's going to be cranking up the next couple of months with that, and that fascinates me.
I love what you're doing, Otto. Been a big fan since I got a chance to talk to you recently, and I realize that you do have some grit that a lot of the chiropractic profession lacks, and that's just my opinion because I've talked to a chiropractor a day for the past 5 years.
Sure.
And getting to know you, it's refreshing to see that you're looking at the perspective from an aerial perspective rather than a linear perspective. And when you look down upon it, you can see where the pain points are. And when you start understanding the pain points of the communications, you have to start understanding if we don't own the research and own the ability to teach that to people, then somebody else is going to start telling the story for us. And they're going to start taking the language away from chiropractors and making it theirs. It could be the PTs, it could be the MDs. But if we don't stand up and say, this is what chiropractic is, this is how it helps the whole unit of you, it helps the brain-body connection, helps the immune system, it helps you become a better human, it helps give you better, that old cliche, it gives you better life to your years and years to your life.
Yeah.
That's really the longevity conversation. And I think that, when Luke and I are going to be 60 years old, when we're going to be 70 years old, we're still going to be kicking ass because we've been getting chiropractic care consistently. And, entrepreneurs aren't going to go out of style. You know, people making films aren't going to go out of style.
Right.
Podcasters and people that have aced the interview and aced the connection of humanity aren't going to go out of style. We're only going to become more amplified, and our longevity is going to rock because we have built such a bond with chiropractic and the healers and the ones that are actually going to change the course of humanity. And I think that that's something that we're really proud of to be a part of, because this is a grassroots effort. And when we get a chance to connect the dots with guys like you that have a big vision, that believe that if people were just getting adjusted more regularly, that we'd have healthier communities, that's the secret. And that's where we all need to come to a conclusion that that's what we need to be doing for people. And if we, like you said, if you want to have like a better career, if you want to have a better spirituality, if you want to have a better of anything, you have to have a better nervous system. And if you have a better nervous system, that's what chiropractors optimize.
You know, this, and I talk with docs about this, and I have docs that talk to me about their evidence-based. And I said, well, what the hell do you think I am? I said, I'm more freaking evidence-based than 99% of the docs in the profession. But here's a crazy thing. Here's a commonality. If this thing ain't working right, if that nervous system isn't optimized, it don't matter. One of my great friends, Dr. Joe Borio, he would talk with us. He was my coach for a while, and then I worked with him. He would say, how good are organic carrots to a dead guy? And you'd be like, what kind of a question is that? No. You can't, no. Answer the question. How good are organic carrots to a dead guy? Well, they're not. Why not? Well, because the nervous system can't process how good that organic carrot is. Well, instead of being 100% turned off, what if you were turned down 10%, 20%? Now, it doesn't matter what those carrots do. It doesn't matter how much you exercise. If you want to function at your best, everybody wants to function at their best. No one wants to function, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. Okay. No one wants that. Everybody wants to be freaking kicking ass. You want to be kicking ass for the next 10, 20, 30, 50, 60 years. No one wants to go out in a puff of smoke. They want to go out setting the whole freaking place on fire. I don't know if I'm going to run the 100-yard dash in 10 seconds anymore, but I'm still going to run the freaking 100-yard dash. And that's the key. How much more can you communicate in your community? How much more can you participate in your community, in your family? How many more times can you hug your children? Tell them that you love them, take them to the park. How many more times can you do that? Because we've only got, I forget what the great quote from Seneca was, is that it's not that we have a short life, it's just that we waste so much of it. You start going, whoa, son of a bitch. It's that we waste so much of it. Well, let's get this rocking, and then it gets better. It gets better. We optimize our time.
Here's two things for you. Bob Marley said, why would I take a day off? The bad guys don't.
Absolutely.
And if we reverse engineer where we want to be at 70, then we should be utilizing chiropractic services consistently.
It's logical. It's logical. You can tell me you want to put chiropractic into that box, or that box. Okay, then you go do that. I'm going to put it into this. I'm going to put it into this, into that. I'm going to put and watch how these people do versus those people in the box. These people are going to friggin' rock.
Well, Otto, I know we've all had a lot of fun, but we've pretty much reached the end of this episode. I do have one really quick last question for you, though. What is one word of advice you would give a struggling doctor or a student fresh out of school?
Is to be able to communicate chiropractic better. And that means you have to find what your story is. And if you don't know what your story is, find one. But everybody has their story. Everybody has their chiropractic story. And you have to be able to communicate chiropractic better. You want to, again, free and effective. My two favorite words. I based the whole practice of my technologies on free and effective. Free and effective. It costs nothing to communicate one-on-one, but more importantly, 1 on 10, 1 on 100, 1 on 300. It costs nothing to do that. But find that story and get great at that story. Because everybody wants a hero story. Everybody wants to get better. They're looking for someone in their town, in their neighborhood, in their village, in their community. They're looking for someone to help lead them. They're looking for you. They're looking for you. Accept it. And here, what's the difference between Clark Kent and Superman? A pair of glasses and a freaking cape. It's the same freaking guy. It's the same guy. He puts on the glasses. Hi, I'm Otto J. I did not recognize him. He's got glasses on. You freaking, how'd that happen in the movies? How'd that happen? No one could tell that was Clark Kent. No one could tell that was Superman. What's the difference between Clark Kent and Superman? It's the same freaking person. It's the same person. That's you. That's you. Yes, you want to be this, but unleash Superman. Allow Superman to fly. Communicate it better. Learn, spend 30 minutes. It costs nothing. You're on the freaking computer anyways, looking up stupid shit. Look up great stuff. 30 minutes a day. That's all. 30 minutes a day. Go do all the other stuff. Wake up a half hour earlier. Get your ass up out of bed. Go do this 30 minutes a day. Contact me. I'll help you. I'll point you in the way. But start doing it on a regular basis. And when you do that, learn how to communicate it better. And then practice gets not only better, but you get better too. That's what your community's waiting for.
All right, Otto. Thank you so much for being our guest today. This was a really good one. And we're going to have to hang out sometime.
Well, you guys are stopping by on your way. Well, you guys will be here in just a little bit. I mean,
Yeah, we'll be hanging.
I told Luke that he was going to fall in love with you. We love you, Otto. Thank you for being our guest today, and looking forward to finding some moose with you.
Hey, did I tell you there's a guy I know went hunting? He was out fishing one time, and all of a sudden he sees these bubbles. He's literally, it's a true story. He's in this small little boat fishing, and all these bubbles. He was like, "Man, what the hell's all of a sudden?" This moose comes out of the water. He's like, "What the hell was that?"
It's a good story.
It's a true one. That's a sad part. Guys, appreciate your time.
All right, Otto. We'll see you on the next one, okay?
Let's go light some bonfires.
All right, brother. See you.
See ya.
Ciao.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.